And now, from the CapsFlorida.com studios in Riverview, Florida, it's the Drinking with Drew show.
Plumber's butt crack looks like boobs.
So here's the topic of the evening that I kind of want to discuss. And there was a conversation that was being had that I overheard. So at what level do you think it's okay? Like I go to Garby's house, I see his wife. Hey, Maya, how you doing? Give her a hug. It's been a while since we've seen you. And I said something like, "You're looking good."
Say level 3.
Level 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Between 1 and 5 or what?
Yeah, but you're not mad. It's not like it's
let's make levels 1 through 10. 1 is no big deal at all. 10 is, dude, I'm gonna punch you kind of thing.
Okay.
So I say, you're looking good, okay? Or I say, hey, Maya, how's it going? Give her a hug. And I'm like, you're looking fit.
That's a level 10.
different, right?
That hits different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maya, you're looking good.
Nice
And
ass.
I just do the mic. I just do the mic. I just do the mic and I just stare and do this.
I think it depends on the person. Like if it was you doing that, I wouldn't care. Like it'd probably be level 2.
Okay.
If it's
Give me a beer.
if it's somebody I don't know, it's probably different.
Okay, so that's
or
part of the
somebody-
difference as well,
I
is
think
how
it's
well
a
you know
huge-
the person. Okay,
Yeah.
so
huge piece of it.
I think it's also how it's said.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're looking so good. Like, and then you're like, damn, you're looking good. Like, two completely different ways of saying it, but you're saying the same.
Yeah.
So,
Like I'm pretty sure Jay has sexually harassed Maya every time he's been around her.
right,
So
right. Well, and that's like the main reason why Laura was pissed off at Mike that last time was he just smacked her in the ass so hard.
No. That is a level 15. You
Right.
don't go up to someone's girlfriend and slap them in the ass. And I know that he was shit-faced drunk,
that's a hard.
but it was because he wasn't taking care of himself to realize like he's getting so drunk that he's doing stupid shit like this.
Right,
But
so-
that's not Garby would literally probably punch you in the face or I would expect you to if you walked up to Amaya and just slapped her on the ass.
I'd
and
expect
thought
Maya
nothing
to
of
punch
it.
me in the face.
Yeah,
Right. Well, I
but,
was gonna punch Mike in the face, but we were getting ready to go into a podcast, and I didn't want it on film that I punched him in the face, like evidence of a
So
black eye.
Jason, you're
I literally like.
Jason, you're at the Hard Rock
that's not
Casino.
good.
A stranger that you've never met before. You're at the center bar. You're hanging out. You're having drinks. You have your wife there with you, and a complete stranger walks up to you. Goes, "Hey, how you doing? Yeah, good beer." And he looks over and just goes, "Wow, your wife is beautiful."
I'm fine with that.
Good with that?
Because that's more so complimenting Garby at that point by saying like your wife is beautiful, like
Okay.
good job, dude.
Okay, so there's a way to say it to where it actually compliments you.
Yeah.
Okay, to say, hey, how about, damn, I'd bang the fuck out of her.
That's a 10.
10, right?
That's a 10.
Like, and that's the guy that is saying this, is that the level of, okay, you're trying to give me a compliment, but in turn, you're completely saying something that is inappropriate. So, Laura, your boobs are out all the time.
They're kind of hard to keep under wraps, but yes.
Okay. Somebody comes up to me and says, your girlfriend has a nice rack. I've heard that before.
Who?
Just random people.
Random people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair. Like she's got cleavage when she's wearing a turtleneck.
Okay.
So it's like,
Right.
how do you avoid it?
Okay, but
Turtleneck cleavage. I like that.
right, I know, right? So at what level, and this is just the compliments in the conversation, is there's a way to say, okay, I'm going to give you a compliment. Is it even needed? Like, is it even necessary? Why do you even have to go to that step and say anything about the person's spouse or wife or girlfriend or whatever? Like, or somebody, let's flip the switch, because women are sometimes worse at it, and women get really catty. And a lady, and we can't ask your special guest sitting on the couch, but okay, Laura, a lady comes up to you and says, and this would never happen because it's just not true. Wow, your man, he's hot. That's a compliment? The word hot?
Yeah, and then I would threaten her a little bit and then go about my evening.
Oh, CMI would say, do you want him?
Exactly, right?
He's for sale. Discount today only.
I'm just amazed at what I hear, and this is just in the last, 10, 15 years of being out, especially in Ybor City, people having conversations, trying to be, I don't know, cute or polite. You don't really know, but it's like some people just don't realize what is appropriate and what's not. And that's just kind of like,
but again, it's
to me,
all
it's
in
almost
how you
common
say it.
sense stuff.
Like somebody could be like, "Oh wow, your boyfriend's really hot," and I'd be like, "Yeah, I fucking know." But if they're like making comments and then later on I see them like doing little things to, I don't know. It's just how you say it and how you like show it. It's just there's levels and there's things you can
right,
say
but
that
if
are
a girl
compliments
walks up to you, let's say somebody
yeah,
that they're in town and I've, whatever, they're one of your friends and they're just meeting me for the first time.
yeah.
And you're really good friends with them, and they see me, and they're like, I would take him to bed tonight.
I'd be like, hell yeah, I know I will. But if it's my friend and they say it a certain way, it's funny. But if it's a complete stranger or somebody I don't know too well that I've like met previously, it depends on
Does
how
it
it
have
comes
to
out.
do with the confidence of your relationship? Like, obviously, the person's not going to take me to bed. Obviously, the person coming up to Jason isn't going to have sex with his wife. The person that's saying this isn't going to go through with what they're saying. They're just literally saying it.
It's a level of respect.
An action.
That's why you say
they're trying to get an action or gain respect out of the person or
so it's
be
how
intimidating.
If you say it in a way that if it's like somebody that I know that it's not going to amount to anything that I need to be fearful of. If it's somebody that I don't know well and they make a comment that is suggestive in a way that like I'm not familiar with, it's not respectful to say something to someone you are not familiar with enough to like know that you're joking or that you're saying it as a compliment. If you don't know somebody well enough, don't say something that can come off just like it's disrespectful.
Yeah, and I think I'd rather, assuming it is somebody that I have some level of familiarity with, I think I'd rather them say, dude, your wife's hot, or something like that, than find out they've been harboring an attraction.
Right.
I think I'd rather just have them come out and say it. Just take it as a compliment it is and move on. And as long as it's you don't want somebody that's like smacking her ass or something like happen.
Yeah, Jason.
But
Yeah, I mean, you got to question people's motive too. I mean, you brought up the point earlier. Why do you need to say anything at all? Like,
Right.
what do you? So there's an underlying motive there, even if they don't plan on following through with it. There's the thought, and it's like, okay, well, why do you even have to say anything at all? If it's somebody just out of the blue. Now, I mean, if somebody laid a hand on her that I didn't know in that manner, then, well, that's a different conversation for another podcast. But,
Right.
Because I would take that as threatening. But yeah, I mean, like me personally, I'm not going to go up to any woman and say you're hot or any of that stuff. Just
right.
because, but no, I'm married and I love my wife, so I have no reason to give that attention to someone else.
But I think some people do it just because they're trying to make the like your friend's been single for 5 years and he says, "Oh, I'm dating this new girl. Oh, why don't you guys come to dinner?" and yada yada yada. And you haven't seen him for a while or whatever. And this is where I think people try to compliment the other person. They're like, "Man, you did well with that one."
Oh,
it's stupid things like that where it's like, okay. I mean, it's like I didn't do well with the last one, or like, but I have a bad scorecard.
That's insulting. That one.
Yeah,
that's like you are shooting way out of your league here.
Something, right?
Yeah. Did this recently happen?
Well, it's happened over the years. I've noticed it happening with guys typically trying to compliment their friends.
Yeah.
And sometimes guys are more so perverts than, they need to be.
Sure.
And they don't sometimes maybe realize it. I don't know when they're saying stuff like that. But, when I just see it a lot at the bar scene where it's maybe you do know the girl really well and she's dressed up nice one night. And, instead of saying, "Oh, you look great," you're like, "Damn, I'd lick you from toes to forehead," or something like that. Like the way the terminology that is used sometimes to say shit.
Is that how you got Laura?
Yeah, well, that's a whole new difference.
There's some psychology behind that too. I mean, I wasn't always a saint. I wasn't, not that I'm one now, but in that area though, I've been guilty, and I think some of the things I went through, 2 divorces way back in the day. If I knew a girl and knew her well enough, and she was in an unhappy relationship, I probably said some inappropriate things. You know what I mean? but again, there's some deep psychology behind why somebody's saying that, So
I'm just curious if like some people say things like that to test somebody's relationship.
Oh, I think that happens for sure.
possibly, yeah.
Absolutely.
Especially when women do it, because women I think are catty about it sometimes, and women are more like, I think women are more so ones to try to fuck a married dude or a guy in a relationship. Like they'll do it like snaky.
Yeah.
They'll like do it in front of the girl.
I'll
Laura's
just
thinking
fucking cut a
something.
bitch. I don't.
No, but it's just weird,
Yeah.
And
I'm ready to go to jail.
there's all kinds of different ways people say it or say things or make the comments, but sometimes the light-handed ones could actually be like more subdued, but they also mean more. Like
That's true, yeah.
and that's kind of like, it might not mean much to the guy, but maybe the girl paid attention to it, and she just stored that little cookie in her head, for 5 years later when they break up or something. It's like, that
Or
Jimmy
even-
guy, he really liked me. He said
Or
he
even
would lick me.
later on in the night, and she's all like, and she's laughing, and she's like touching you, and
That's
like,
another thing is the hands on the person, like
right. It's how you
and they're-
do it.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
it's not like you're like, it's funny. You like punch them in the arm as a like if they're like soft touches or like constantly putting their hands on you, and they make a comment, and that's like a combined action or actions for the evening. That's when I'm gonna have a problem with it. Because you make a comment and then you start touching, like that's no.
Yeah,
Okay.
if it's delivered properly, I don't think there's anything wrong with a compliment.
Right.
But there should not be any contact.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
That's a line drawn right there.
Yeah, I wouldn't get upset just over a compliment. I mean, like, kind of being in the fitness world a little, if somebody, like we just got home from the gym or something, if a friend of mine or you or whoever, one of you guys said to Candy, "Oh, you look really good." Like you can tell her physique, look at those biceps.
Yeah.
And her lats are sticking out. She dropped something. Let me get that for you. That's a bad pun. Sorry.
So nothing like, man, those glutes look tight.
Yeah. But I was gonna
Exactly.
say, I also think though.
Still trying to figure out where the lats are. Keep going.
All right, that's your back muscles.
Your back.
Yeah.
The wings. The
Yeah, the
wings.
No
wings.
wonder I have no idea where this.
It's a really bad joke. You drop something. Let me get that for you. And there's ILS, the imaginary lat syndrome. Guys that walk like they're really big with their arms out. You got ILS, the imaginary lat syndrome.
Nice.
What I was going to say about before, though, guys, is I think sometimes people are unhappy being single, and they compliment someone's other half, kind of a snide way of saying, well, I could give you a better life and relationship than the person you're with.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of motives, different types of motives behind those comments.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and I think it's just when you have the psychology of okay, if it's somebody you've known for 20 years versus 2 minutes,
Yeah,
a lot of that
Right.
is
Big difference,
Yes.
This sounds like something very personal happened.
some people,
recently.
just some people
a violent
amaze
No,
me.
it was a comment that he saw on Facebook. 'Cause I remember somebody seeing it,
okay.
and so that's where it stems from.
But it's
Nothing
something that
personal.
but, no,
I'm not going to jail. I didn't cut a bitch.
No, I see people. No, I'm just being out and about, and you hear different versions of the story, and you hear it. I mean, if you pay attention to it, you'll notice it more than you want to.
Sure.
And you'll see, maybe you have a guy that's been married for 10 years, and now he's single, and you'll see how he acts differently while he's single now that he's out by himself, and he's this new guy trying to pick up women. You're like, man, you're kind of aggressive with all this stuff, like how he's talking to other people and introducing himself and mingling with the crowd, and you're like, man, just some of the shit you say, but I don't know. It's not anything specific. It's just a different, it's just a something that kind of varies depending on so many situations that you're in,
Yes.
but everybody does it in their own little way. When you're doing introductions and you're doing getting to know people, if you pay attention to it, you can kind of really see the psychology behind somebody and how they're either trying to manipulate people or compliment them with the whatever reason they're trying to kind of overextend a compliment. I don't know, planting a seed for later. It's like I just mentally the psychology behind it. I just probably think about it too much and try to understand it more.
I like that though, but I think I wish people would understand that if you work less on the cheesy pickup lines and compliments and work more on becoming the type of person you want to be with, then you'll attract the type of person that you want to be with.
Yeah.
And you don't have to give those cheesy lines and over compliments and saying stuff to somebody else's other half like that.
Yeah, I like it.
I agree.
Very, very deep.
Deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a good conversation.
How are we looking? My website's not showing up on the.
Ruh-roh.
No, the website's not showing or the phone number, but we have 5 viewers. We've
Well,
been at a steady 5.
I purposely took the phone number down because I can't take phone calls right now because I got my new phone and the old
Yes.
connection thing doesn't work. So
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with this damn
He
thing.
gets a new iPhone that's supposed to be top of the line. It doesn't work in his Jeep, and it's not working with his.
No, it is working
That-
in the Jeep now.
I was gonna say,
Oh,
it sounds
that's
like
good to
user
know.
error.
Yeah, it is working. No, so what happened in the Jeep was she has her. We have now our chargers look the same. So when I was trying to plug my charger into the Jeep, I actually had her C or USB-C plugging into my phone that was not actually connected to anything.
No,
the
I
Jeep.
told him he just had to Bluetooth it because
Yeah.
he
I'm not
has his
Bluetoothing
plugged
that shit.
in, or his old phone was plugged in through the USB so that it would just pull the music from his phone when he wanted to use it that way and then charge. If I had used the same, like if I had used the port below that one so that I USB to charge my phone, it would try to pick up my phone to sync with the vehicle. And I'm like, I don't want to do that because then we're just like, having conflicting phones if we're both in the car. So I'd been using the plug in the back, and then it doesn't mess with the USB and trying to pick up my phone. And then when he changed his, it wasn't working. And I'm like, we now have the same charger, so just pull mine from the back and you have to use Bluetooth. He's like, I don't want to do that. I'm like, just use Bluetooth. It's not that
Tell me
hard.
if it works
What-
now.
Was this plug that you use in the back made by Joe?
No.
Yes.
Wall electrical.
I was waiting for
plug.
something to say something, please.
Can we never say the word plug on this show without thinking of butt plug automatically now?
The techie stuff's weird. I always get the ID 10T error that pops up.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know. The butt plug is still on the green room table.
Yep,
So
it's still
anybody-
out there.
It's been hanging out with us.
Joe's made your bats. You'll have your bats
Yeah.
in the studio soon.
He has like 15 of them.
Mm-hmm.
He's made a
And
shit
he made
ton of
8
bats.
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joe make bats, and then we have like the front porch, and it's really tall, and it's like a cave. And I'm like, I want to make a bat cave. I want to like have them look like they're swirling up. So he made a whole bunch on like thinner wood. We're just gonna paint them black, and the front porch is gonna look like a bat cave.
Oh, that's cool.
Suck it, HOA.
Yeah.
For
Are
now.
they
Fight the
against,
power.
Are they against that? Porch decorations?
Well, we're gonna keep it up year round.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Halloween all year.
Or they're going to be in the
I like
studio.
Hey, I like that too.
But it's the thinner wood. You didn't want the thin. This is like the thin plywood. I told him, I'm like, just use
Yeah,
the plywood
but-
because they're going to be outside. So if they get messed up with,
I'm talking about the skulls. I want the skulls inside.
You're trying to
The ones
know.
in
You see the
porch?
skulls? Yeah.
I did. That's the first thing I saw, dude. I told her. I'm like,
Literally
"Look."
within like an hour of me having him home and sending him a picture, he's like, "Ooh, I'm gonna figure out a way to hang those on the wall in the studio." I'm like,
You
"No,
could
you
easily hang
can't.
them on the walls.
Yeah.
No
They
way.
could definitely go on the walls.
No,
Little brackets. You can make it happen. For sure.
no.
Yeah.
Speaking of that high pitched voice, this one, and I'm pointing to Drew, kept replaying the snippet of him
Oh.
testing the vodka last week, and I have a cackle in that fucking audio
Don't
snippet.
turn your head.
And we are at dinner last night because on Mondays we go to the Beef O'Brady's and we watch the football games. I work and we eat and everything.
Cool.
And he just keeps replaying the snippet over and over. And I'm sitting there like, oh my God, I'm annoyed at my own voice. I'm like, how are you still with me after listening to that for like fucking just 30 minutes right now? But I can't even get, please delete that. Don't ever. And now it's like on a short. It's got tons of views. I'm like, awesome, thanks.
Some strangers are going to come up to you next Monday at Beefs and say, I love your cackle.
You're
Oh my
right.
God.
That'll be like an inappropriate
As long as
compliment.
they don't say I love your cankles, I'll be okay with that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
All right, guys. So like and subscribe, or subscribe and like, whichever one you want to do first. Jason, when you plug your channel real quick.
Yeah, if you're a guitar player or if you want some, positive affirmation here and there, go to Jason Stallworth. You can go to my website, jasonstallworth.com, or just Google my name. I have a unique last name, so I pop up. My YouTube channel pops up.
Yep, it
Thank
pops
you.
up very easily. It's right here.
Sponsored by Booterbang.
Sponsored by booterbang.com. So subscribe to our channel. We are up to 170 subscribers
Woohoo!
Wow.
as of the start of the show. It could be more now. I don't know.
Let's see. Keep talking.
Yep. Like she'll be like it's 165.
It's just
Exactly.
170 still.
And so we're live. We try to get on here as close as possible to 6:30 p.m. every Tuesday, and we hang out for about an hour and a half or two, and then talk about whatever's floating our boats. Jason, you have anything else you want to go over before we head out and I smoke a cigar?
No, thanks for having me on the show. Enjoyed it. That we got in some deep stuff tonight, which I'm a sucker for, man. So
Yeah,
that
you
was
know.
good conversation.
Garby,
It's always a good time.
yeah, you gonna win next week?
Probably not.
Nope.
Where did you end up this week?
Huh?
Where did you end up in the
Oh,
league?
dead last again.
Again?
Oh yeah.
Jesus
Oh, man.
Christ.
Can we just play you each week?
Yeah.
We don't even have to try anymore.
No, there's a very good chance. I wasn't kidding at the beginning of the season when I said my.
Well,
there's
you
a very
started out
good
with
chance.
Rogers and literally first
that's-
game,
that's
he just
true, yeah.
totally blew your league to
But
shit.
I do have Anthony Richardson, who is doing okay, but then he was out last week with a concussion.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we'll see. I don't know. I might pull off one win this season, but yeah, I'm gonna be at the bottom.
Well, good thing you're commissioned. You get paid.
Yeah.
And this isn't a gacial. This is not a
That's
gacial
not
slur,
gacial.
but I know you like being on the bottom.
Yeah.
Anything to add or subtract?
I don't think so.
Okay.
See you next Tuesday. I can finally say it. I think it's been long enough that Jay stole my saying.
Jay's going to be back, I think, next Tuesday.
Fuck him.
I think he comes and goes through October.
Yeah, but I think he's
But
going to
I
be
think-
here next
Yeah, I
Tuesday.
think you're right. Yeah.
So
That little.
we'll have a lot to talk to Jay about.
See you next Tuesday, Steeler.
No, you know.
We miss Joe.
Joe is
We did
out.
Oh, yes.
He's got work to do. Did we say that earlier? I don't know if we covered
Oh,
that
I don't
or
think
not.
you did mention it.
Yeah,
no.
so
No.
Joe is not in tonight, as you could tell.
Yeah.
So
He must
is-
be, that last call must be going late because it's almost
Yeah.
8 o'clock now.
We'll probably get to see him in the garage
Yeah.
shortly.
He'll come hang out.
So we apologize for the first 10 minutes of frustration. I do my best to hide that when shit's going wrong, and sometimes I can put on the stole code and face and be like, I'm gonna put, but sometimes just like fuck it, I'm gonna fix it right now and get frustrated and gotta do what you gotta do.
There you go.
So everybody saw the real life frustration of running a podcast, producing, and dealing with all this bullshit. But good times. And Jason, what do you got going on this month? You got any shows or anything going on you want to?
Just a lot of live solo gigs, man. I will be wrapping up the album, the recording this week, and it'll be sent off for mastering next week. So
Okay.
that's something kind of big that's coming up here. But other than that, it's just the normal acoustic shows that I do around town here, and staying busy with the
Okay.
guitar courses and the channel and all that stuff.
All right. When's your next
Awesome.
pool party?
It's a good question. We need to schedule that sooner
Yeah.
than
Just
later.
where the weather gets, and
I know,
I
it's
say
me.
cold like
Yeah.
Florida gets cold, but sometimes
get-
it gets a little too cold for pool water.
I was gonna say it definitely gets too cold for pools.
Yeah.
It does, yeah.
At least George Costanza style.
Yeah.
We walking around like that.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm going to attempt to play the Drinking with Drew show. Thanks to Must Not Kill for putting this together for me. And we'll see how it goes because, I like to fuck shit up.